What would you do if the man you loved with all your heart suddenly appeared at your door as a dirty, smelly beggar? Would you open the door? Would you offer him water? Or would you slam the door in his face and call security? This question would soon test the heart of a woman named Chioma, and her answer would change everything. Before we continue this epic story, I'm curious, which part of the world are you watching from? Put it in the comment. Also, please just take a moment to hit the subscribe button if you are yet to. Like and share this video just so more people can hear and learn from this story. Now let's continue. Chioma was 26 years old, beautiful, educated, and engaged to one of the richest men in Lagos. His name was Emeka, but everyone called him Emeka. He owned 3 hotels, 2 real estate companies, and drove cars that made people stop and stare. When he proposed to Chioma 6 months ago, the whole neighborhood celebrated. Her mother cried tears of joy. Her friends envied her. Even strangers congratulated her on the street. But Chioma's life had not always been this bright. She grew up in a small village in Enugu State. Her father died when she was only 8 years old, leaving her mother, Mama Chioma, to raise 4 children alone. Mama Chioma sold roasted corn by the roadside every day under the hot sun. Her skin was dark and rough from years of smoke and heat. Her hands were calloused and hard, but her heart was soft, and she refused to let her children suffer more than necessary. Chioma was the firstborn. She watched her mother struggle every single day. She saw how her mother skipped meals so her children could eat. She heard her mother cry quietly at night when she thought everyone was asleep. She remembered the day the landlord threw their belongings outside because they couldn't pay rent. She remembered sleeping under a tree with her siblings, holding them close as mosquitoes bit their skin. Those memories never left Chioma. They shaped her. They hardened her. They made her determined never to be poor again. When Chioma finished secondary school, she didn't have money for university. So she worked as a housemaid in Lagos for 3 years, saving every naira she could. She ate the leftover food her madam gave her. She wore old clothes. She never went out. She only saved and prayed. Finally, she had enough money to start a small provision shop in Surulere. The shop was tiny, just a wooden table under a small zinc roof, but it was hers. She woke up at 5 a.m. every day, opened by 6 a.m., and closed at 10 p.m. She sold biscuits, soft drinks, bread, milk, soap, everything people needed. Business was slow at first, but Chioma was patient and smart. She gave credit to good customers. She smiled at everyone. She kept her prices fair. Within 2 years, her small table became a proper shop with walls, a fan, and shelves. Within 3 more years, she opened a second shop in another area. People respected her. They called her a hard worker. They said she had sense. That was when Emeka noticed her. He had come to Surulere to inspect one of his properties. He stopped at her shop to buy bottled water. Chioma served him with her usual polite smile, not knowing who he was. Emeka was impressed. She didn't flirt. She didn't try to impress him. She just did her job well. He came back the next day, then the next week, then every week. Soon they started talking. Chioma was shocked when she learned he was a billionaire. She didn't believe it at first, but Emeka was humble. He dressed simply when he visited her. He spoke to her like an equal. He asked about her dreams, her mother, her struggles. He listened. After 6 months of friendship, Emeka asked her to be his girlfriend. Chioma hesitated. She had seen rich men use poor girls and throw them away. But Emeka was different. He introduced her to his father, Mr. Okafor, a retired army general. He took her to his mother's grave and told her stories about her. He showed her his childhood photos. He was real, so she said yes. Their relationship was beautiful. Emeka supported her business. He helped her expand. He paid for her younger siblings' school fees. He built a small house for her mother in the village. He treated Chioma like a queen. After 1 year, he proposed. The engagement was grand. Emeka rented an event center in Victoria Island. He invited over 300 guests. Chioma wore a gold dress that shimmered like the sun. When Emeka knelt down with the ring, she cried so hard she couldn't speak. She only nodded yes, and the crowd erupted in cheers. Her mother, Mama Chioma, was there. She wore a beautiful purple wrapper and matching blouse that Emeka had bought for her. She wept with joy. "My daughter," she whispered, "God has remembered you. You have suffered enough. Now you will rest." Chioma hugged her mother tightly. "Mama, I will never forget where we came from. Never." But somewhere deep in Emeka's mind, a small seed of doubt was planted. Not by Chioma's actions, but by the words of his friend. 2 weeks after the engagement, Emeka sat in his office, a massive room on the top floor of one of his hotels. The view from the window showed the entire Lagos skyline. He was reviewing documents when his childhood friend, Obinna, walked in. Obinna was also rich, but not as rich as Emeka. He was loud, proud, and always suspicious of people. He believed everyone had a hidden agenda. "Emeka, my guy," Obinna said, dropping into the leather chair opposite him. "Congratulations again on your engagement. That Chioma babe is fine sha." "Thank you," Emeka said, smiling. "I'm blessed." Obinna leaned back and studied him. "So, you really want to marry her?" "Yes." "Why are you asking like that?" Obinna shrugged. "I'm just saying. You know how these poor girls are. They can package themselves well. They smile, they act humble, they cook, they pray. But the moment they marry a rich man, everything changes. They become proud. They start misbehaving. They forget where they came from." Emeka frowned. "Chioma is not like that." "Are you sure?" Obinna asked, raising his eyebrows. "Have you tested her?" "Tested her? What do you mean?" Obinna laughed. "My brother, you cannot just marry a woman because she's beautiful and well-behaved when things are good. You need to test her character when things are bad. That's when you see the real person." Emeka shook his head. "I trust Chioma. I don't need to test her." "Emeka," Obinna said seriously, leaning forward, "I'm your friend. I've known you since we were children. I'm telling you this because I care. Rich men like us are targets. Women will do anything to marry us. Some of them are genuine, but many are pretenders. They act one way before marriage and change completely after." "Chioma has known poverty," Emeka argued. "She understands struggle. She's not materialistic." "Then prove it," Obinna challenged. "If she truly loves you, she will love you even when you have nothing. If she only loves your money, she will show her true colors when the money is gone." Emeka was silent. The words troubled him. He loved Chioma. He believed she loved him too. But Obinna's words planted a small, ugly doubt in his heart. "What do you suggest?" Emeka finally asked. Obinna grinned. "Disguise yourself. Pretend to be poor. Go to her as a beggar. See how she treats you. If she shows you kindness and love even when you look like nothing, then she's the one. But if she rejects you, insults you, or chases you away, then you know she only loves your money." Emeka looked out the window, his mind racing. He didn't want to deceive Chioma, but he also didn't want to marry someone who would change after marriage. He had seen it happen to other men. Their wives became demanding, rude, and unfaithful once they had access to wealth. "I'll think about it," Emeka said quietly. Obinna stood up, patting his shoulder. "Think well, my brother. Marriage is for life. Better to be sure now than to regret later." After Obinna left, Emeka sat alone in his office for hours. The doubt grew. He thought about his late mother. She had always told him, "Emeka, marry a woman with a good heart. Beauty fades, money comes and goes, but a good heart lasts forever." He picked up his phone and looked at Chioma's photo. She was smiling, her eyes bright and full of love. He wanted to believe she was genuine. But the doubt wouldn't leave. Finally, he made a decision. He would test her. Just once. Just to be sure. The next day, Emeka told Chioma he was traveling to Abuja for business. He would be gone for 1 week. Chioma kissed him goodbye and told him to travel safely. But Emeka didn't go to Abuja. Instead, he went to a poor neighborhood in Mushin. He found a small tailoring shop and asked the tailor to give him the dirtiest, most torn clothes he had. The tailor was confused but complied. Emeka paid him well. Next, Emeka visited a barber and asked him to shave his head unevenly, leaving patches. He asked the barber to make him look unkempt, dirty, mad. The barber hesitated, but Emeka insisted. Then Emeka went to a dusty construction site. He rolled in the sand. He rubbed dirt on his face, arms, and legs. He tore his clothes further. He dirted his hands with engine oil. He looked in a mirror and barely recognized himself. He looked like a mad beggar, someone you would avoid on the street, someone you would give money to just to make them go away. Satisfied with his disguise, Emeka took a public bus, something he hadn't done in years, to Surulere where Chioma lived. He waited until evening, then walked slowly to her street. Chioma lived in a modest 2-bedroom flat. It wasn't luxurious, but it was clean and comfortable. Emeka had offered to move her to a bigger house, but she refused. "Let's wait until after the wedding," she had said. "I don't want people to gossip." Emeka stood outside her gate, his heart pounding. He looked down at himself. He smelled terrible. His clothes were torn. His feet were bare and dirty. He looked like someone life had crushed completely. He took a deep breath and knocked on the gate. "Please help me. I'm hungry. Please." Inside the compound, Chioma was cooking in her small kitchen. She heard the knock and wiped her hands on her apron. She walked to the gate and opened the small viewing slot. She saw a dirty, ragged man standing outside. His face was covered in grime. His clothes were torn. He smelled like a refuse dump. She wrinkled her nose instinctively. "Yes?" she asked, her voice neutral. "Please, madam," Emeka said in a weak, broken voice. "I'm very hungry. I haven't eaten in 3 days. Please, anything you can give me, even if it's just water." Chioma stared at him. She saw beggars almost every day. Lagos was full of them. Some were genuinely suffering. Others were pretenders. She had learned to be cautious. But something about this man's voice touched her. Maybe it was the way he said 3 days. Maybe it was the genuine weakness in his tone. Maybe it was the memory of her own hunger as a child. She hesitated, then said, "Wait here." She closed the viewing slot and went back inside. Emeka waited, his heart beating fast. Would she bring him food? Would she send him away? Would she call security? A few minutes later, the gate opened. Not just the small slot, but the entire gate. Chioma stood there, holding a plate covered with a white napkin. She also held a bottle of water. "Come inside," she said gently. Emeka was shocked. She was letting him into her compound? A dirty, smelly beggar? He shuffled inside slowly, keeping his head down. Chioma led him to a small bench under the mango tree in the compound. "Sit down," she said. He sat. She placed the plate in front of him and removed the napkin. On the plate was rice, fried chicken, and vegetables. It was her own dinner. "Eat," she said softly. "Take your time. Don't rush." Emeka looked up at her, but she couldn't see his eyes clearly through the dirt on his face. "Thank you, Ma," he said, his voice breaking. She also gave him the water. "Drink first. You look very thirsty." He drank. The water was cold and sweet. He wanted to cry, not from thirst, but from emotion. Chioma was treating him with such kindness, even though he looked disgusting. She stood there watching him eat. "What's your name?" she asked. "Emeka," he said without thinking, then quickly added, They call me Eem. My name is Eem." "Eem," she repeated. "Where are you from?" Anambra State, Ma. I came to Lagos to find work, but everything went wrong. I was robbed. I lost my bag, my phone, everything. Now I have nothing." Chioma's face softened with pity. "Sorry. Life can be very hard sometimes. I understand." Emeka ate slowly, watching her from the corner of his eye. She didn't move away from him despite his smell. She didn't look disgusted. She looked concerned. "Do you have family?" she asked. "Yes, Ma. My mother is in the village. She's sick. That's why I came to Lagos, to find money to help her. But now I have failed her." Chioma sighed. "Don't say that. You haven't failed. God will help you." When he finished eating, she took the plate and brought him a small towel and a bucket of water. "You can wash your face and hands here," she said, pointing to the outdoor tap. He washed. The water felt good on his skin. When he looked up, she was still there. She said, "It's getting dark. Do you have somewhere to sleep tonight?" He shook his head. "No, Ma. I will sleep under the bridge." Chioma looked troubled. She bit her lip, thinking. Then she made a decision. "You can sleep in the security post tonight. It's empty. I don't have a security man right now. There's a mat there. It's better than the bridge." Emeka couldn't believe his ears. She was offering him shelter? In her compound? "Ma, are you sure?" he asked, testing her further. "I'm a stranger. You don't know me. Aren't you afraid?" Chioma smiled sadly. "I know what it means to have nothing. I know what it means to sleep outside. I can't send you to the bridge when I have space here. But you must promise me you won't cause any trouble." "I promise, Ma. God bless you. You have a very good heart." She nodded and showed him the small security post. It was just a tiny room with one mat, but it was clean and dry. "Sleep well," she said. "Tomorrow morning, I'll give you food again before you go." "Thank you, Ma. Thank you so much." She turned to leave, then stopped. What's your mother's name?" "Her name is Comfort, Ma." Chioma smiled. "I will pray for her tonight. I will ask God to heal her and help you find work." With that, she went back into her flat. Emeka sat on the mat, stunned. Tears rolled down his dirty cheeks. He had come here to test Chioma, to see if she would reject him. But instead, she had fed him her own dinner, given him water, allowed him to wash, offered him shelter, and promised to pray for his fake sick mother. He lay down on the mat, staring at the ceiling. His heart was full of shame and love. Shame for doubting her. Love for the woman she truly was. But the test wasn't over yet. The next morning, Emeka woke up early. He heard movements in the compound. Chioma was already awake, sweeping the compound. He watched her from the small window of the security post. She worked quietly, humming a gospel song. She swept carefully, gathering the leaves and dirt into a pile. Then she went to water the small flower plants near the gate. Emeka stepped out of the security post. "Good morning, Ma," he said in his beggar voice. Chioma turned and smiled. "Good morning, Did you sleep well?" "Yes, Ma. Very well. Thank you. Wait here. I'll bring your food." She went inside and returned with a plate of yam and egg sauce, plus a cup of hot tea. "Eat this. It will give you strength for the day." He ate slowly, watching her. She continued her morning chores, not in a hurry, not acting like he was a burden. She treated him like a human being. After he finished eating, he stood up. "Ma, I have to go now. Thank you for everything. God will bless you." Chioma reached into her apron pocket and brought out some Naira notes. She pressed them into his hand. "This is not much, but use it for transport. Maybe you can find your way back to your village or look for work in another area." Emeka looked at the money. It was 5,000 Naira. He knew Chioma didn't have much. This money was significant to her. "Ma, I can't take this," he said, his voice shaking. "Take it," she insisted. "Please, I know what it means to have nothing. Just take it." He took the money, tears filling his eyes. "Thank you, Ma. You are an angel. I will never forget you." Chioma smiled. "Go well, Em. May God guide you." He walked to the gate, opened it and stepped outside. But he didn't leave. He stood there watching through the gap. Inside, Chioma picked up her phone. She dialed a number. Emeka heard her voice clearly. "Hello, Mama? Good morning. How are you?" "I'm fine, Mama. I just wanted to tell you something. I met a young man yesterday. He was begging for food. He reminded me of our own suffering. Mama, I gave him food and shelter. I gave him some money this morning." "No, Mama, I'm not foolish. I know we don't have plenty. But Mama, you taught me that when God blesses us, we must remember those who are still suffering." "Yes, Mama, I know. Emeka takes care of me now, but I can never forget where we came from." "Yes, Mama, I love you too. Greet my siblings for me. Bye." She hung up and went back inside her flat. Emeka stood outside the gate, his whole body shaking. He couldn't hold it anymore. He broke down and cried. Not the fake cry of a beggar, but the deep, painful cry of a man who realized he had almost made a terrible mistake. Chioma had passed the test. No, she had surpassed it. She didn't just tolerate him. She didn't just give him leftover food. She gave him her own dinner. She gave him shelter. She gave him money she needed. She called her mother to report her good deed, not with pride, but with humility. This was the woman he had doubted. This was the woman Obinna had told him to test. And she had proven herself to be pure gold. Emeka wiped his face and walked away. He needed to clean up. He needed to come back as himself. He needed to apologize not for testing her because she didn't even know, but for doubting her in his heart. 2 days later, Emeka returned to Lagos from his fake Abuja trip. He called Chioma and told her he was back. She was excited. "Welcome back, baby. I missed you so much. Come to my place. I'll cook your favorite soup." "I'm coming," he said, smiling. When he arrived at her flat, she ran to the gate and hugged him tightly. "How was Abuja? How was the business meeting?" "It went well," he lied, guilt heavy on his heart. She served him food, and they sat together in her small living room. She told him about her week. She mentioned her shops, her siblings, her mother, but she didn't mention the beggar she had helped. Emeka was curious. "Anything unusual happen while I was gone?" Chioma shrugged. "Not really, just the normal everyday things." "Nothing at all?" She thought for a moment, then smiled. "Oh, there was one thing. A young man came here begging for food. He looked very hungry and homeless. I gave him food and let him sleep in the security post. I also gave him some money the next morning." Emeka pretended to be shocked. "You did what?" "Chioma, are you crazy? You let a stranger sleep in your compound? What if he had robbed you? What if he had attacked you?" Chioma looked surprised by his reaction. "Emeka, he was harmless. He was just suffering. I couldn't send him away. You could have just given him food outside and sent him on his way. Why let him inside?" "Because it was getting dark, and it was going to rain. I couldn't let him sleep under the bridge." Emeka leaned back, pretending to be angry. "Chioma, you're too soft. That's how girls get killed in Lagos. You don't know these beggars. Some of them are thieves. Some are ritualists." Chioma frowned. "Emeka, why are you talking like this? I thought you would understand. You know my story. You know I've been in that position before. How can I see someone suffering and just ignore them? So you used the money I give you to feed a stranger?" Chioma's eyes widened in shock. "Emeka, what's wrong with you? Why are you talking to me like this?" He stood up, pacing. "I'm just saying you need to be more careful. You need to think about your safety. You need to." "I need to what?" She interrupted, her voice rising. "I need to forget where I came from? I need to become heartless just because I'm about to marry a rich man? That's not what I'm saying." "Then what are you saying, Emeka?" She stood up too, facing him. That beggar reminded me of my own past. When my family was thrown out by the landlord, we slept outside. Strangers gave us food. Strangers showed us kindness. If not for the mercy of people, I might be dead today. So how can I refuse to help someone who is in the same situation I was in? Emeka stared at her. Her eyes were filled with tears, but also with fire. She wasn't backing down. She was defending her choice with passion. I gave him my own dinner, Emeka. My own food that I cooked for myself. I gave him water. I gave him shelter. I gave him 5,000 naira from my own purse, not from the money you give me. I did it because it was the right thing to do. And if the same situation happens again tomorrow, I will do it again. A tear rolled down her cheek. If you don't like the kind of person I am, if you think I'm too soft or too foolish, then maybe you should find someone else to marry. But I will never become the kind of person who sees suffering and turns away. Never. The room was silent. Emeka stood there, his heart breaking and healing at the same time. He had tested her, and she had passed beyond his wildest expectations. Even now, when he was pretending to be angry, she stood firm in her values. He walked toward her slowly. She stepped back, confused and hurt, but he didn't stop. He knelt down in front of her. "Chioma," he said softly. "What are you doing?" she asked, wiping her tears. He looked up at her, his own eyes wet. "That beggar you helped. His name was Im." "Yes, I remember." "Chioma, that beggar was me." She froze. "What?" "It was me. I disguised myself as a beggar to test you, to see if you would still be kind when you thought I was nobody, to see if you truly have a good heart or if you're just acting." Chioma's mouth fell open. She stepped back further, her hand covering her mouth. You did what?" "I'm sorry," Emeka said, tears now flowing freely. "I doubted you. My friend put ideas in my head. He said I should test you before marriage. He said many women change after they marry rich men. I was foolish. I let his words make me doubt the most genuine person I've ever known." Chioma was shaking. She didn't know whether to cry, scream, or laugh. "So all that time, it was you?" "Yes. And Chioma, you didn't just pass the test. You showed me who you really are. You gave me your own food. You let me sleep in your compound even though I looked dangerous. You gave me money you needed. You called your mother to tell her about helping a stranger. You defended your choice even when I pretended to be angry about it just now." He held her hands. "Chioma, I am the one who doesn't deserve you. You are pure gold. You are the kind of woman my mother prayed I would find. Please forgive me for doubting you. Please forgive me for testing you." Chioma pulled her hands away. She turned and walked to the window, her back to him. The silence stretched long and painful. "Chioma, please say something," Emeka begged. She turned around slowly. Her face was wet with tears, but there was something else in her eyes. Not anger, not hatred, something softer. "You hurt me, Emeka," she said quietly. "You made me feel like I had to prove myself to you, like my love wasn't enough. I know. I'm sorry. But I also understand," she continued. "You've been hurt before. You've seen how people change when money enters the picture. Your friend put fear in your heart. I understand that." She walked back to him. He was still kneeling. "Stand up, Emeka." He stood, his eyes searching her face. "If you ever doubt me again," she said firmly, "if you ever test me again without telling me, I will leave you. I don't care how rich you are. I don't care how comfortable my life becomes. I will leave. Do you understand?" "Yes," he whispered. "But I forgive you," she said, her voice breaking, "because I love you. Not your money, not your cars, not your houses. You, the man who respects my mother, the man who paid for my siblings' education, the man who listens to my dreams. That's the man I fell in love with." Emeka pulled her into his arms and held her tight. They both cried, releasing pain, fear, doubt, and finally, finding peace. "I will never doubt you again," he promised. "Never. And I will never stop being who I am," she replied. "No matter how much money we have, I will always remember where I came from. I will always help those who are suffering. That's exactly why I love you," Emeka said, kissing her forehead. They stood there holding each other as the sun set outside, painting the room in golden light. The test was over. The doubt was gone. The truth had been revealed. And the truth was beautiful. The next day, Emeka invited Obinna to his office. His friend walked in with his usual confident swagger, smiling broadly. "My guy, how was Abuja? How did the test go?" Obinna asked, settling into the chair. Emeka didn't smile back. He looked at Obinna with cold, clear eyes. "The test happened, and I learned something very important." Good, Obinna said, leaning forward. "So what did she do? Did she chase you away? Did she show her true colors?" "She fed me," Emeka said quietly. "She gave me her own dinner. She let me sleep in her compound. She gave me money. She called her mother to tell her she had helped a suffering stranger. And when I came back as myself and pretended to be angry about it, she defended her choice with everything in her." Obinna blinked. "Wait, she helped you?" "Yes, she treated me like a human being. She showed me what it means to have a truly good heart. She passed the test so completely that I am ashamed I even tested her." Obinna leaned back, uncomfortable. "Well, maybe she suspected it was you." "She didn't," Emeka said firmly. "I looked completely different. I smelled terrible. There was no way she could have known. She helped me because that's who she is." "Okay, but let me ask you something, Obinna," Emeka interrupted. "What would your own wife do if a beggar came to your house?" Obinna was silent. Would she feed him? Would she give him shelter? Would she give him money? Emeka continued. Or would she call security to chase him away? Obinna looked down. "That's different. My wife. Your wife is good to you because you are rich," Emeka said, his voice hard now. "But Chioma is good to everyone, rich or poor. That's the difference. And that's why I'm going to marry her and treat her like the queen she is." He stood up. "I'm going to pretend you never gave me that advice. I'm going to pretend this conversation never happened. But Obinna, let me tell you this. Not everyone is fake. Not every poor person is a gold digger. Not every kind woman is pretending. Some people are genuinely good. And if you keep judging everyone by your own standard, you will die lonely and bitter." Obinna stood up, his face red with embarrassment and anger. "I was just trying to protect you." "No," Emeka said, walking to the door and opening it. "You were projecting your own fears onto me. But I'm not you, and Chioma is not your wife. Goodbye, Obinna." Obinna walked out without another word. Emeka closed the door and leaned against it, exhaling deeply. He had almost ruined the best thing in his life because he listened to the wrong voice. Never again. 6 months later, the sun rose over Lagos with unusual beauty. The sky was painted in shades of pink and gold, as if God himself was celebrating. Today was Emeka and Chioma's wedding day. The ceremony took place in a massive event center in Lekki. Over 500 guests attended. There were governors, businessmen, pastors, celebrities, and important people from across Nigeria. But Emeka had insisted on inviting everyone from Chioma's past too. Every market woman who encouraged her, every customer who supported her small shop, every neighbor who helped her when she had nothing. The hall was decorated in white and gold. Flowers covered every surface. A live band played traditional Igbo music. The air smelled of perfume, jollof rice, and joy. But the most beautiful thing in that hall was Chioma. She walked down the aisle in a stunning white wedding dress that sparkled like stars. Her makeup was perfect, making her dark skin glow. But it was her smile that captured everyone's attention. It wasn't the smile of a woman who had won a prize. It was the smile of a woman who had been seen, valued, and loved for who she truly was. Beside the aisle sat her mother, Mama Chioma. She wore a royal blue asoebi with gold embroidery. Tears streamed down her face as she watched her daughter, the same daughter who once slept under a tree, now walking like royalty toward her future. Emeka stood at the altar, wearing a black tuxedo with a gold bow tie. His father, Mr. Okafor, stood beside him as his best man, smiling with pride. When Emeka saw Chioma walking toward him, his vision blurred with tears. She reached him and he took her hand. The pastor smiled and began the ceremony. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today. But before the pastor could continue, Emeka raised his hand. Excuse me, pastor. I have something to say first. The hall fell silent. Everyone leaned forward, curious. Emeka turned to face Chioma, still holding her hand. Before we make our vows, I need to tell everyone here what kind of woman I'm marrying. Chioma looked confused. Emeka, what are you doing? He smiled at her, then turned to face the crowd. Many of you know that Chioma came from a humble background. Many of you know she struggled. But what you don't know is what she did just 6 months ago. He told them everything. About how Obinna planted doubt in his heart. About how he disguised himself as a beggar. About how Chioma fed him her own dinner, gave him shelter, gave him money, and defended her choice even when he tested her further. The hall erupted in gasps, whispers, and then thunderous applause. Some women were crying. Some men were shaking their heads in amazement. Mama Chioma stood up, her hand over her mouth, tears flowing like rivers. Emeka continued, his voice strong and clear. I tested the woman I claimed to love. I doubted her because someone told me to be careful. But she showed me something I will never forget. She showed me that true character is not what you do when people are watching. It's what you do when you think nobody will ever know. He turned back to Chioma, whose face was wet with tears. You gave me food when I looked like nothing. You gave me shelter when I looked dangerous. You gave me money when you had little. You didn't do it to impress me because you didn't know it was me. You did it because that's who you are. That's the heart you carry. He knelt down in front of her, right there at the altar in front of 500 guests. Chioma, I don't deserve you, but I promise you this. I will spend the rest of my life making sure you never regret choosing me. I will honor you. I will cherish you. I will protect you. And I will never, ever doubt you again. The hall exploded with applause and cheers. People were standing, clapping, wiping their eyes. Even the pastor was crying. Chioma pulled Emeka to his feet. You are a foolish man, she said, laughing through her tears. But you are my foolish man. And yes, I will marry you. The ceremony continued. They exchanged vows, exchanged rings, and when the pastor said, You may kiss your bride, Emeka kissed her so tenderly that even the tough businessmen in the room felt their hearts soften. The reception was magnificent. There was more food than anyone could eat. The music was loud and joyful. People danced until their feet hurt. But the most moving moment came when Emeka's father, Mr. Okafor, stood up to give a speech. Ladies and gentlemen, he began, his voice deep and commanding. I am a retired general. I have led soldiers into battle. I have seen courage in many forms. But today I saw a different kind of courage. The courage of a young woman who chose kindness over fear, who chose compassion over comfort, who chose humanity over safety. He looked directly at Chioma. My daughter, because that is what you are now, my daughter, you have taught my son something I could not teach him. You have taught him that wealth is not measured in bank accounts. True wealth is measured in character. Welcome to our family. We are honored to have you. Chioma walked to him and hugged him tightly. The whole hall erupted again in applause. Then it was Mama Chioma's turn to speak. She stood up slowly, trembling with emotion. She wore her new glasses that Emeka had bought for her, and for the first time in years, she could see clearly. "I am just a poor woman," she began in Igbo, which someone translated for those who didn't understand. "I sold roasted corn by the roadside. My hands are hard from work. My back is bent from carrying heavy loads. I am not educated. I am not rich. I am not important." She paused, wiping her eyes. "But God gave me a daughter who never forgot where she came from. Even when life became better for her, even when she met a rich man, she never became proud. She never forgot the days we slept outside. She never forgot the hunger. She never forgot the shame." Mama Chioma looked at Emeka. "My son, because you are my son now, thank you for seeing the value in my daughter. Thank you for not just loving her beauty, but loving her heart. And thank you for that test." Everyone looked surprised. Mama Chioma smiled. "Yes, I said thank you for the test, because that test revealed what I already knew. My daughter is gold, pure gold, and now everyone here knows it too." She raised her glass of juice. "To Emeka and Chioma, may your marriage be blessed with love, peace, children, and prosperity. And may you never forget that the greatest treasure in life is not money, but character." Everyone raised their glasses and echoed, "Character." The party continued late into the night. People ate, danced, laughed, and celebrated. But as the night wound down and guests began to leave, something unexpected happened. As Emeka and Chioma were getting ready to leave for their honeymoon suite, a commotion arose at the entrance of the hall. Security guards were trying to stop someone from entering, but the person was persistent. "Please, I just need to see him. Just 5 minutes. Please." Emeka recognized the voice immediately. It was the real Beggar, the one whose mat he had slept on that night, whom he had met while preparing his disguise in Mushin. "Let him in," Emeka told security. A thin, ragged man walked in nervously, looking around at the grandeur with wide eyes. When he saw Emeka, he hurried forward and knelt down. "Oga, please forgive me for disturbing your wedding. I heard people talking about what you did, how you disguised as a beggar to test your wife. And I wanted to see if it was true, if someone as rich as you would really do that." Emeka helped the man stand. "What's your name?" "They call me Sunday, sir." "Sunday? Why did you come here?" Sunday swallowed hard. "Sir, 6 months ago you came to Mushin. You asked the tailor to give you dirty clothes. You asked the barber to make you look rough. I was there. I saw everything. I even showed you where you could roll in the sand to make yourself look more real." Emeka remembered. "Yes, you helped me. Sir, I've been begging on the streets for 5 years. In those 5 years, I have met thousands of people. Rich people, poor people, educated people, illiterate people. But nobody has ever treated me the way your wife treated you that night." Sunday's voice broke with emotion. "Most people throw money at me without even looking at my face. Some people insult me. Some people spit at me. Some people tell me to go and work instead of begging. But your wife, sir, she gave you food. Real food, not leftovers. She gave you water. She gave you shelter. She gave you money. And she looked at you like you were a human being, not a disease." Tears rolled down Sunday's face. "Sir, because of what she did, I want to change. I want to stop begging. I want to find real work. I want to become a better person. Because if someone as kind as her exists in this world, then there is still hope for people like me." The hall fell completely silent. Even the band stopped playing. Everyone was watching this moment. Chioma, still in her wedding dress, walked forward. She looked at Sunday with the same kindness Emeka had seen that night. "What kind of work can you do?" she asked gently. Sunday looked down. I can wash cars, Ma. I can clean. I can carry heavy things. I'm not educated, but I'm strong and willing to learn." Chioma turned to Emeka. "We need someone to manage the cleaning staff at your new hotel in Surulere. Someone who understands struggle. someone who will treat the workers with respect. Emeka understood immediately. He smiled and nodded. Then he turned to Sunday. If you're serious about changing your life, I'm giving you a chance. I'll start you as a cleaner at my hotel. If you work hard, prove yourself trustworthy, and learn quickly, I'll promote you to supervisor within 6 months. After that, if you continue to excel, I'll sponsor your education. You can learn hotel management. You can build a real career. Sunday couldn't speak. He just stood there, shaking, tears pouring down his face. Finally, he found his voice. Sir, I don't know what to say. Thank you. Thank you. I swear on my life, I will not disappoint you. I will work hard. I will change. I promise. Emeka placed his hand on Sunday's shoulder. Go to the hotel tomorrow. Ask for Mr. Akinlade, the manager. Tell him I sent you. He will give you everything you need: uniform, toiletries, a room in the staff quarters, and your first month's salary in advance so you can take care of yourself. Sunday knelt down again, this time in front of both Emeka and Chioma. God bless you. God bless your marriage. May you have many children. May you prosper in everything you do. Thank you. Thank you. As Sunday left the hall, walking with a new hope in his steps, the guests erupted once more in applause. But this time it wasn't just celebration. It was reverence. They had just witnessed something rare in a world full of selfishness. They had witnessed genuine goodness multiplying. 5 years passed like a beautiful dream. Emeka and Chioma's marriage was everything they had hoped for and more. They had been blessed with 3 children, 2 boys and a girl. Their home was filled with laughter, love, and the sweet chaos of family life. Emeka's businesses continued to grow. He now owned 5 hotels, a construction company, and a real estate empire. But the most important change was in how he ran his businesses. Inspired by Chioma, he started a foundation that provided scholarships to poor children, medical aid to sick widows, and business grants to struggling entrepreneurs. Chioma had expanded her provision shops into a chain of 10 stores across Lagos. But she never forgot her roots. Every Saturday, she personally delivered food and essential items to homeless shelters. She became known as Mama Everyone because she treated everyone, rich or poor, with the same respect and kindness. Mama Chioma lived with them in their big house in Lekki. She no longer sold anything. Her days were spent caring for her grandchildren, attending church, and thanking God for transforming her family's story. Her small house in the village had been renovated into a beautiful bungalow where she spent holidays. But the most remarkable transformation was Sunday's story. True to his word, Sunday had worked harder than anyone at the hotel. He arrived early, stayed late, and treated every task with excellence. Within 6 months, Emeka promoted him to supervisor as promised. Within 2 years, Emeka sponsored his education in hotel management. Within 4 years, Sunday graduated top of his class. Now, in the 5th year, Sunday was the assistant manager of Emeka's newest hotel in Abuja. He wore neat suits, carried a briefcase, and had become an inspiration to other former beggars who wanted to change their lives. He had even saved enough money to rent a small apartment and bring his elderly mother from the village to live with him. One Sunday afternoon, Emeka and Chioma decided to visit the old neighborhood in Surulere where Chioma used to live. They wanted their children to see where their mother's journey began, to understand that their comfortable life today was built on yesterday's struggles and faith. As they drove through the familiar streets, Chioma pointed out landmarks. That's where my first shop used to be. That's where I used to buy wholesale goods. That's the church where I prayed every night for a better life. They stopped in front of her old flat. A new family lived there now, but the mango tree in the compound was still standing. Chioma stared at it, remembering the night she fed a dirty beggar under that tree, not knowing he was the man she would marry. Daddy, is this where you pretended to be poor? Their eldest son, Chikwudi asked. Emeka smiled. Yes, my son. This is where I learned the most important lesson of my life." "What lesson?" their daughter Adana asked. Chioma knelt down to her children's level. "Your father learned that who you are in the dark is who you truly are. Anyone can be good when people are watching, but true character shows when nobody will ever know what you did." She stood up and looked at Emeka. "And I learned that tests will come in marriage. Doubts will come. Challenges will come. But if you stay true to who you are, if you never compromise your values for comfort, love will always win." Their youngest son, Obiora, tugged at Emeka's shirt. "Daddy, can we help someone today? Like Mommy helped you." Emeka and Chioma looked at each other and smiled. Their children were learning the right lessons. "Yes," Chioma said. "Let's go find someone who needs help." As they drove through the streets of Surulere, they saw a young woman sitting by the roadside with a baby on her back and a tray of oranges in front of her. She looked exhausted, and her baby was crying. Chioma told Emeka to stop the car. They got down and walked to the woman. "Good afternoon," Chioma greeted her in Yoruba. "How much are your oranges?" The woman looked up, tired eyes meeting kind ones. 50 naira each, ma." "I'll buy all of them," Chioma said. The woman's eyes widened. "All? But there are over 100 oranges here, ma." "I know," Chioma said, smiling. "How much is everything?" The woman calculated quickly. "Ma, that will be 5,000 naira." Chioma opened her purse and brought out 50,000 naira. She placed it in the woman's hand. "The 5,000 is for the oranges. The remaining 45,000 is a gift from God. Use it wisely. Take care of your baby. And remember, no matter how difficult life is right now, it can change in a moment. Just keep working hard and keeping your heart pure." The woman stared at the money in her hand, unable to speak. Tears rolled down her cheeks. "Ma, I don't know what to say. Thank you. God bless you. God bless your family." Chioma hugged her. "You're welcome, my sister. What's your name?" "My name is Blessing, ma." "Blessing," Chioma repeated, smiling. "Your name is prophetic. You will be blessed, and you will be a blessing to others. Remember this day. Remember that a stranger helped you when you needed it most. And when your life becomes better, do the same for someone else." As they drove away, their children were excited. "Mommy, you made her so happy," Adana said. "Yes, my daughter. And making others happy is one of the greatest joys in life." That evening, back home in their mansion in Lekki, the whole family gathered in the living room. Mama Chioma sat in her favorite chair, watching her grandchildren play. Emeka and Chioma sat together on the couch, her head on his shoulder. "Do you ever regret it?" Emeka asked quietly. "The test, I mean, does it still hurt when you remember?" Chioma was silent for a moment, thinking. Then she smiled. "At first, yes, it hurt, but now I see it differently. That test revealed something important to both of us. It showed you who I truly am, but it also showed me who you are." "What do you mean?" Emeka asked. "You were willing to humble yourself completely to find the truth. You were willing to look foolish, dirty, and worthless just to be sure. That takes courage. And when you discovered the truth, you didn't just quietly accept it. You announced it to the whole world at our wedding. You honored me publicly. That's the kind of man you are." She lifted her head and looked into his eyes. "So no, I don't regret it. That test became our testimony. It became the foundation of our marriage. It became the lesson we now teach our children and everyone around us." Emeka kissed her forehead. "I thank God every day that you failed to fail the test." Chioma laughed. "I didn't fail. I passed." "Exactly," he said, grinning. Mama Chioma called them over. "Come, both of you. Let me tell you something." They sat at her feet, like children before their elder. Mama Chioma placed a hand on each of their heads. "When I was young," she began, "my own mother told me something I never forgot. She said, Chioma's mother, in this life, people will test you. Husbands will test wives. Wives will test husbands. Employers will test workers. Friends will test friends. Some tests will be fair. Some will be wicked. But your job is not to pass the test for them. Your job is to pass the test for yourself. She smiled at them. My daughter, you didn't feed that beggar to impress Emeka because you didn't know it was him. You fed him to honor the memory of your own suffering. You fed him to honor God who fed you when you were hungry. That's why you passed. She turned to Emeka. My son, you humbled yourself not just to test her, but to understand her world. You became poor to know what poverty feels like. That's why you changed. That's why your businesses now help people instead of just making profit. That test changed you too. They both nodded, absorbing her wisdom. My prayer for both of you, Mama Chioma continued, is that you continue to remember where you came from. Rich or poor, high or low, always remember that we are all human beings. We all need food. We all need shelter. We all need kindness. When you remember this, you will never go wrong. That night, after the children were asleep and Mama Chioma had retired to her room, Emeka and Chioma stood on their balcony, looking out at the lights of Lagos. Do you think people will learn from our story? Chioma asked. Emeka thought about it. Some will, others won't. But that's not our responsibility. Our responsibility is to live it, to embody it, to show the world that goodness still exists, that kindness still matters, that character still counts. Chioma nodded. And to teach our children to carry the same values forward. Exactly, Emeka agreed. They stood there in comfortable silence, two souls who had found each other through an unusual path, a path that included doubt, testing, revelation, and ultimately the deepest kind of love, the kind that sees and values the heart above all else. Remember, in this life, we are all being tested, not by each other, but by God. And the question is never, will they pass? The question is, will I pass? Live in such a way that when life tests your character, you pass with honor. Thank you for watching. Please take a moment to hit the subscribe button if you are yet to. Like and share this video just so more people can hear and learn from this story. Until next time, please stay safe.